All right, hello and welcome back to the Worldwide Wolves podcast. We're here for week 3. We're 2 games into Summer League. We're going to have a blast talking about those 2 games of Summer League and our takeaways. But I'm coming to you from Pittsburgh, hence the name Worldwide Wolves. And Jake, the co-host here, where are you coming to us from?
Coming to you from Melbourne, Australia. Cold here, but we're surviving. Not as cold as it ever gets in Minnesota, so I'm not complaining too much.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Minnesota anymore. Moved away. But it's actually literally 100 degrees here in Pittsburgh. It's wonderful. So we're on opposite ends. I'm still in a closet. Great comments last week, guys. All of them hilarious, good stuff.
We've got some decorations now.
We got Rubio and we got Towns next. I like Carl. He's a lot. I also had to unmirror my camera, which I've never done, so I'm like getting used to it. But anyways. Carl, he's I like to cheer for him when he's, it's easier when he's not on my Wolves because you can just kind of check the highlights and not get so frustrated. But anyways, we're going to talk about Summer League, specifically 5 main takeaways regarding the 5 starters: Dillingham, Clark, Terrence Shannon, Leonard Miller, and Baron J. But before we do, are there any players that I did not list that you really want to talk about at all, or should we wait till the very end to maybe dive in on some of those guys?
I don't think there is. I will maintain my take that Jesse Edwards is a terrible basketball player, and when they're using a two-way on him, I think we can say, we can talk about him in terms of just like they probably should get someone else on that two-way, I think. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, Rocco Sikorsky, Australia represent, looked better in this game. Looked like he could actually be like something in the future. Very tall human being. Apart from that, I think it's the starting 5 that everyone wants to know about.
Yeah, I'm right on there with you. I think it was a first quarter. Jesse Edwards got in. I just, unimpressed. But hey, I love that this is just hating it. No, he's probably a great guy.
We shouldn't. We like to skew positive, so let's try and skew positive.
There you go. So we'll start with Rob Dillingham, then the point guard, and just kind of give our main takeaways on him. I guess I'll start with Rob here. For me, I guess I have a sort of positive and a negative. My positive is that I think his best skill, best ability, and it's really being showcased is his passing game. And just, I think that's on a borderline, like really, really good level right now. And yes, it's Summer League, but man, his court vision has really, really impressed me so far. So very, very happy to, I'm just very, very, really, really, anyways, really happy to see that. So it's midnight my time, by the way. We're recording this right after the game. So I'm a little tired, but it was a fun game. Anyways, Rob, really impressed with his passing game overall. I think his court vision was great, and we can dive more in on that. But just on the other side, I think his handle in these first 2 games, overall ball handling, is erratic. You can see that it's there. He's going to develop it. I think it will turn into something solid. But right now, he's just got to, I almost want to say he's got to chill out a little bit, but he's almost also at his best passing the ball when he's just flying around. So finding that balance with his handle where he can just excel at it while he's moving as quickly as he is, while still maintaining the passing and the court vision, then you've got a real player on your hands. So we can talk about the scoring and all that, but just, I guess, on Rob Dillingham, what do you think of that? And what's your takeaway for him?
Yeah, I think I completely agree with both of your points. I was sitting there during that game thinking, is there anyone actually on this roster right now who can like break past that first line of defense and then make plays with a pass as well as Rob can? And I'm not saying there's guys who are less erratic with that. I mean, I think you are going to get a bit of turnover stuff and there is some volatility in Rob's passing still. But I think in terms of getting past the first defender with his speed, playing off a pick and roll, and then making plays either to shooters, to roll men, to cutters, I think he is the best player on the team at doing that already. And that's a lowish bar because I think Conley struggles a bit more with it now just because he struggles to get into the paint or get, into the middle of the defense. But yeah, I love his passing. I think it's, like you said, his best still right now. And I completely agree. I feel like with the dribbling, sometimes you can see that his brain and his body is going way faster than a human being can possibly dribble the basketball. Because he obviously has a good handle. Like he has a lot of different moves. He's shifty with it. I don't want to use, and I use that in the more literal term than just the Rob Dillingham term, but he's got a lot of wiggle, a lot of shake. He knows how to move defenders out of his way with his handle. But sometimes I feel like he's already doing the next thing before he's actually gathered the basketball to do the thing that he's currently doing. So I think that's probably better than having like no handle. Like it's better that he has
Part
the
of
handle,
yeah,
but things need to slow down for
yeah.
him.
Part of me think it's like he knows he's better than the guy that's defending him constantly. He's like, I'm gonna just do all this and get past him. Whereas like maybe in an actual NBA game, he would be more controlled because like you're going
Mm-hmm.
against actual play. But he's trying to show off. He's trying to show what
Yeah.
he's got here, and it's a little chaotic. But yeah,
Yeah, I do think he needs to streamline his handle, like because I don't think he needs 4 or 5 moves to get past the defender, and I do feel like sometimes he gets that step, and then we'll throw another move in there, just because I think that's kind of his natural instinct is to cross a dude up 3 different times or to spin around a screen and then pull the ball back and try and go the other direction. Where when he when the game does start to slow down for him, I think mentally slow down for him, I think we'll see less dribble moves with higher efficiency and a greater ability to use that dribble move to make something happen. But right now, like you said, it does seem a little bit erratic, and that's it's a weird criticism because I think you want to see that he can handle the ball and he can handle the ball, but you want to see it streamlined a little bit as well, where it doesn't feel like there is a turnover waiting there behind the next corner.
yeah, and like we've seen it with him. Like we know he can do it. It's not something where we're going, okay, is that a skill that he can hopefully develop someday? Like he's almost
Hmm.
he's almost too good at it for his own good, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah,
he had like the triple behind the back crossover and then spin and set the scores table. It's like, all right, man, just chill out.
yeah.
But
One thing I think
yeah,
I
go
think
for
with
it.
Rob with his ball handling is he is really good with a good screener. I want to see him with Gobert more this season because when he can use his crossover, which is really quick, and cross his guy into a screen, and he sets up screens really well. I thought that was his best ball handling kind of thing coming out of college, was that he can set a defender up to run into a screen really, really well. And like going back to me kind of saying that he needs to streamline things, I think when he gets more that he can use that one move, get his defender into the screen, and then go from there, that is going to be the best version of Rob. And like we said, when he can get that space to get into the middle, he is a really good playmaker, and he really is looking to pass the ball in a way that I think last summer league it felt like he was almost being forced to be the point guard and not be Rob Dillingham, whereas this season it feels like it's more of a natural thing that his role that he wants to do is to move the ball and to make plays for others and to use his talent to get other guys open.
Yeah, and it helps that he's got 4 guys around him that could be legitimate NBA players, pretty much
Mhm.
at least starting the game. I mean, not many summer league teams. I don't remember the Wolves' full roster from last year, but like not many teams have that luxury. So that's cool to see for that experience. Let's touch on his scoring a bit because early in the game, I liked the shots he was getting. I think better than later on. I think as the game progressed, like you mentioned, he was trying to just focus on passing more, and that might be an overall emphasis. But I thought scoring the ball early on, he looked good, and just getting past his defender. He had a couple floaters that I thought were nice, but the pull up three is just not fully there yet for me. And you mentioned he's good coming off the screen as a passer. I think I would in the games going forward. How many more are there? Is it one and then like playoffs or something?
Maybe 2 more and
Whatever.
then playoffs. Yeah, I think there's a back to back in there, which is dumb, but
I'd love to
yeah.
see him kind of go just turn junior mode and just try to see what you can do, score in the basketball much more. I think he did
Mhm.
for like a quarter, but yeah, I just really want to see him kind of showcase that side because we mentioned it last week. He was a damn good scorer in college, so I don't know. I just want to see more of that because Wolves need scoring behind Anthony Edwards in the regular season here. So
Yeah.
can he bring some of that? What do you think of his overall scoring these first couple games?
Yeah, it's erratic as well. It's hit and miss. Like you said, I think he started well. I think he played a good game throughout, and both games I think we've seen Rob play well without really ever getting going completely as a scorer, which I guess is a good thing because if you want to stay on the court in the NBA, he's going to have to be able to do things when he's not, on a heater offensively with his scoring. So, but I do think that the pull-up three is a work in progress. I said that in our last episode. I said I think that the pull-up three needs to be there. I think it's pretty much a non-negotiable if you're his size. I think you need to have a pull-up three and you need to have a floater. And he had both of those things in college. They came and went last season, and they've come and gone as well in this summer league.
He had him in the first quarter today.
That first bucket where he comes off the screen, the same thing. He sets up the screen really well. One dribble, pull up three. That's a shot he needs, because if he is a player who can set up a screen and who can run guys into screens, then he needs to be able to hit a pull up three from that, because it's such a valuable shot in today's NBA. So. And he had a few pull-up mid-range jumpers off the same thing, where he took 2 or 3 dribbles, got to the elbow, raised up, hit a jumper. So they're the shots I like him taking. I don't think I've hated really any shots he's taking, but there's some of the things where obviously you want more to go in. He shot 40% in this game. I think he shot 30% or something in the first game. So obviously they're not the percentages you want. I think you want at least low, 44% kind of on the season. I do think the rim finishing, which I thought was impressive last season in his limited minutes, has been really bad in summer league. Uses the wrong hand, doesn't use his left hand enough. I think he goes for that inside hand kind of layup, which will get blocked a lot in the league. It's just an easy shot to block for a big dude, and has just seemed hesitant, I think, to go all the way downhill against some of these big guys at the rim. So I'm a little bit not worried. I mean, one of my overall takes is that summer league's terrible. It's not a good place to, like, we're on this quest to see and to analyze and to judge these young players. And, that's me and you as well, that we want to see them. We want to see how good they are. But then, like, if you walked into your TV and you didn't know anything about this, but you knew about basketball, you would say this is a terrible, like, brand of it's pickup. Like sure. These dudes, and they've never, half the team they've never played with before. So I think there's part of me that always gets stuck on that with every player, both good and bad, that this isn't a good environment to play well in. And I don't think that's an excuse for Rob. I think I would like to see him finish at the rim, but I don't think you need to be in a good environment to finish at the rim or to make more open threes. But yeah, that's kind of one thing that I'm stuck on, is that it's a weird environment. Like, it's a weird pickup.
You can tell the
YMCA
chemistry
kind of
is
game.
just like not there.
Yeah, and mainly for turnovers. I think the turnovers, I almost hand wave a lot of the turnovers from every player, because it's just like every team turns the ball over 15 to 35 times in a game. Like, there's no low turnover games. Everybody's running up and down the court, trying to make plays for themselves, trying to do the fancy thing. No one in there is a seasoned player who kind of understands pace and how to play in a controlled way. So there's a lot of that there.
I love it, because it's like one of these 3-minute stretches where everyone's sprinting up and down the court. Every shot is missed, blocked, and the announcers are like, the effort here is crazy. Yeah, man. All right. Let's actually just one thing quick. His defense. I think that's a big sticking point for Dillingham. It's a huge reason that he didn't get more run last year. Maybe the, top of the food chain reason he didn't get more playing time last year. My thing with Rob's defense is he's just never going to be big enough to be a good defender. But I think if he can just be pesky and give enough effort there, and I mean, he's got to be really damn well conditioned throughout the regular season to play the kind of defense he's going to need to play to stay on the court and still be the facilitator, scorer on offense, like that the Wolves are going to need. It's going to require constant effort on both ends with his size. And I've liked his effort on defense. Like you mentioned, every team is turning it over constantly, but he's forced, I think, a few notable turnovers. Of course, he's gotten beat a few times as well, and that's going to happen a lot. But it's nice to have Baron J behind him. So your thoughts on Rob's defense before we move on here?
Yeah, I think I pretty much agree with you there. I just think at his best, he's probably going to be like a gambler if he maxes out his defensive potential. I think I'd love to see him really take a page out of like the Dante DiVincenzo book, where Dante's not always like a really solid one-on-one, straight up pick and roll point of attack defender. but he flies around. He makes really great rotations,
He's annoying. Yeah.
really great reads off the ball. Great double teamer, Dante. You know, when it comes to that. So I think that's what I want to see Rob do. Jordan McLaughlin was the same
Sure.
kind of player where he was tiny, but if you can just be, if you need to be solid in the scheme, that's a
Smart. That'd be
non-negotiable,
smart.
especially in Finch's rotation. But he's not going to stop guys off the bounce, and especially he's not going to get over screens consistently, which I think is his worst trait right now. So when you're off the ball, can you cause a bit of havoc? Can you get a hand in at the point of attack and try and poke a ball away? Things that could go wrong, like gambles. You know, if you gamble a lot in the NBA, you're going to lose a lot. But I think winning some gambles might be better than just trying
Just
to be a
losing.
solid, trying to be a solid defender who's never going to have the size to do so.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I like that. All right. Let's move down the line, but let's just go right to, I think, the star of the show, Terrence Shannon Jr. here, who, well, I'll actually throw it to you to start on this one. Just your overall take on Terrence Shannon Jr., who had, I think, was 20 in the first game, 24 the second game, and is rebounding, picking up assists, and just, I don't know, he's kind of the gravitational pull on the offense here for the Wolves. So your thoughts on TJ Shannon?
Yeah, too good for summer league. Probably should graduate after this game. Like I want to see him play every game because I hope they hang the summer league banner in Target Center in a few months. But he's too good to be there. He's too old to be there. He's too entrenched in what Minnesota are doing, I think, next season to be there any longer. So, and that's obviously a good thing. That's not a knock on the team or the guys who made him go, but he's just feels more athletic, better, more controlled. He's clearly to the point where he seems to be just like testing out things in his game rather than trying to showcase like
You
that
don't
he's
think
a
he'll be
real.
pulling out the step back corner three in the regular season?
He shot 14 threes tonight, and he had out of 19 shots. So I don't, we know Terrence Shannon Jr. already, and that he's a guy who wants to get to the rim. So I think there's an emphasis there to shoot more threes. His playmaking has been awesome. That's been my favorite part of his game. I think his playmaking has just been like really, really functionally good. He's hitting the corners on his drives. He's hitting lobs. He's, making pick and roll reads. So I think, yeah, he's doing things. He's adding to his game in an environment where he's actually playing against players. So that feels really encouraging to me. The scoring, he'll score as long as he's on the court with these guys. I think as long as he's on the court with NBA guys, he's going to know how to score, get to the rim, get to the free throw line. The three looks better. I mean, he was 5 of 14, which doesn't feel great percentage-wise, but
He just
it
kind of
looks
bought a
better.
few late,
Yeah, he looks better. He's shooting more off the dribble. Again, he's just testing things out, and seemingly it's working. So, yeah, I don't think he should be there anymore, but I hope he is.
Yeah, I agree. The first game with him, I was kind of watching at like the mid third quarter, early fourth. I was like, I haven't really even noticed him that much. And you check the scorecard, he's got 18, he's got 4. So it's like, all right, like I guess I don't know. It hasn't been flashy, but he's scoring. So you're right. He's just better than all. It's like when Anthony Edwards has a great game. You're like sometimes I didn't even really notice. He's just got 37 points.
Yeah,
It's just
when we complain
better.
about Anthony Edwards games now, they're like 24, 6,
Right.
and 5.
That's Terrence Shannon summer league basically. So
Yeah.
no complaints. The takeaway is basically what we went into this thinking. I hope he can just blow the competition out of the water, and he has. He looks way too good for this, and yeah, hope he plays next game. Probably, I have no idea.
I think he might. I think he might. Yeah.
He's the most competitive player on the court, despite also being the best.
That's my favorite thing. Apart from the passing, which is but in terms of like mentality, I love that he's out there trying harder than everyone else, despite the fact that he's clearly the best player on the court.
I love it. Yeah. You mentioned his rebounding in our last episode as that you wanted to see some improvements or just overall better rebounding there from him. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, the number, I don't know what he had in the first game. He had 7 tonight, which I think is fine, a fine number, a good number. I don't expect him to be like one of those smaller dudes who gets a ton of rebounds, a Jared Vanderbilt type of player.
Yeah, because he's running in transition already by the time.
Yeah. But I do want to see him have a focus, some sort of focus on rebounding, just because when he grabs a rebound, he can start fast breaks. And I think the team will play so much faster. If Terrence Shannon grabs 7 rebounds, TJ Shannon, we should be saying.
I know.
If TJ Shannon grabs 7 rebounds in an NBA game, I feel like that's 5 fast breaks or 5 transition opportunity, just because when he grabs the rebound, he pushes straight away. And he forces guys to run with him, and I think Rob does the same in his own kind of way. But if TJ's playing with Ant and Jaden, that's feels like transition buckets if he can get rebounds. So I'm not. It wasn't that I don't think he can rebound is why I want to see. It's more just that I think that could be a real weapon.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. He's also just quite strong. He can go up and get it. So good to
Yeah.
see. I like that. I guess anything else on TJ Shannon here? I mean, it's pretty standard what we're seeing from him.
No, I want to see him play lots of minutes this season, and I want to see him keep being a playmaker in summer league, because I'm starting to have these
Yeah.
feelings of him and Ant playing together, with Ant as a more of a point guard and TJ still enough of a good passer to make that work.
Can he ever be how good of a three-pointer do you project him to be? 30, 36%, 37?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he's ever going to be a really good 3-point shooter. But I don't think he needs to be. I think because he's so dynamic going downhill, I just think he needs to get guys to close out on him. And it doesn't really need to be like a, Duncan Robinson run at him and jump at the shot, because you don't want him to shoot the ball. It just needs to be, can you get a guy to get his foot out and his hand up in your vicinity so you can use that first step to get to the rim? And I think he's probably not that far away from that right now. And so I don't think he needs a huge leap to get there, but 36 to 39% maybe I would guess, and I think that's going to be good enough for him.
Yeah, completely agree. Someone who does, I think, need to have their 3-point percentage be at least like 39%, 38. Jalen Clark. He's been playing as many minutes as Rob and TJ Shannon here. He's cemented pretty much in the Wolves rotation starting the season. And the main takeaway for me is that his defense is, I would hate to play against him if I was any of these summer league guys. Oh my God, like he's so good on defense. It's really fun to watch. Like there's not a lot of players, maybe especially at his size or whatever, that you kind of watch and you can just notice he's electric on defense, pressuring the ball. Like even what you can see him like praying in the backcourt when someone's about to pass the ball to the top of the key, he's ready and he somehow can get there. It's crazy, man. He's really fun to watch. And on the offensive end, I mean, I haven't been like blown away, but we kind of just went over this last week where we're like, he's just got to be like a consistent shooter, maybe in the corners and top of the key. So he has been. I mean, I do have the numbers for his shooting. It seems like he's
I
been
think
okay.
he missed all of his threes in game 1.
Oh.
I don't know how many. I don't know how many it was. Maybe 4 or 5. And then tonight he was 2 of 6. It felt a little better than that.
Yeah. I think his spacing, his ability to get open at the 3-point line has been good, and maybe they're just leaving him open. But he's been open, and it's the shots
we have NBA sample size of him making shots, and that doesn't mean that he's going to be. I think he shot 43% or something. He's probably not going to make 43% next season, especially if he's a consistent rotation player. But he needs to be able to just make 38, 39, 40% on low volume. It's probably going to be low volume. It's not going to be difficult volume. Like a lot of guys in the league can shoot 39% when they're just shooting catch and shoot open threes. So that needs to be him. I'm not a huge fan of really, like, 3-point shooting is such a volatile thing. Like the odds that TJ or Rob or Jalen Clark go for a 4 or 5 game stretch throughout the season where they shoot 28% from 3 is extremely high. So if it happens in summer league, if it happens in summer league, I just don't think it's that big of a deal unless the shot looks broken, and I don't think it does. I'm a little bit not concerned, but I just think Clark has nothing really off the dribble, which is not going to be a big deal, I guess, in the NBA, but it does limit his ceiling if you can't. I just think
it limits the Nickeil Alexander-Walker comp by quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's not. Whenever guys do close out on him, as opposed to TJ Shannon, he just can't
Yeah.
do anything with it. He has 3 dribbles in him max, and that was a little, a little Josh Okogie-ish. He was a bit like that. Jaden McDaniels was like that. I remember at the start of his career, where I was like, if Jaden takes 3 dribbles, something bad's going to happen. So it can be developed, but I just think Clark is not going to be that player.
Well, yeah,
He's
Jaden's like a 6'11" alien too. That
yeah,
helps.
yeah. And he's a maniac defensively. Like, that's what he does. He is a bulldog. And it's like you said, it feels like bullying during these summer league games, especially when it's the young dudes that he's checking. Like Jeremiah Fears, the last name checked out because when Jalen Clark turned that heat up in game 1, he was pissed off. Like something pissed him off, or when they were down by 8 or 10 points, and he just said, like, look, guys, like I'm just gonna get 4 steals here and like completely wreck an offense by myself. So that's what he is. I want to see him defending point guards in the NBA. I just think that is a great recipe for success in terms of a rotation guy. I think he will wreck point guards defensively. That allows Jaden to be off the ball. I just think he is that Nikhil type defender in a very different way. I think Nikhil is that like agile, chase around screens, stay connected to someone's hip kind of defender, where Jalen is like on the ball, super physical, off the ball, maniacal, just running around everywhere, shooting gaps, getting steals, doubling players, doing those little Jose Alvarado steals in the backcourt. Like he had a crazy backcourt steal or front court steal with about 40 seconds left in that game, which was already over, that he didn't even need to try for. And that's just kind of
he loves playing defense. Like he just loves it.
Yeah, I think he loves it more than anyone on the roster. So that is probably why Finch loves him, because that's a coach's trait.
There's probably a small part of him when he gets a steal that's kind of like, damn it, like because now you got to go play offense.
And I bet every time he gets a steal, 90% of Finch is elated, and 10% is like, damn, I'm gonna have to carve out some even more minutes in this rotation.
Yep. And he's an 8th man in an NBA rotation. He's limited, and you kind of like, his ceiling. He's just gonna be really, really good on defense, and obviously he's not the biggest guy either, but we'll see what happens with him, and I'm excited to see how the Wolves use him on both ends this year, and whether that just his rotation is consistent or not. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm super intrigued to see that. Yeah. What I think is probably going to be like I think TJ is entrenched. I think he's just going to get minutes. Yeah. He's going to have a consistent role. Yeah, I'm really interested to see the Rob Jalen Clark kind of dynamic in terms of the rotation, because it's not easy for Finch. Like I'm not envious of Finch and the coaching staff who have to carve out minutes for all these guys.
If you're prioritizing minutes, where do you put TJ Shannon? Like 6 out of like all the Wolves players? You got the starters.
Yeah.
You got Nas. Well, you got Conley. Maybe like 7.
Well, I guess Conley. I think if you're trying to, I guess Conley, you don't have to really prioritize a lot of minutes for, because there's no point guards on the roster, so he's going to play like. Yeah, I think 6. Like I think maybe Mike's just below him. Maybe Dante, so maybe 7.
True.
Dante is one of those players. Yeah, he's going to play 25 minutes a game. Like, they love him. I think he had a down year, but I think his down year has also been a little overstated, DiVincenzo. He had a terrible beginning to the season. He was sick for like 40 games.
After that toe injury.
Yeah, he before the toe injury as well, for like at least a month, he was really good. And then really good after it, then terrible in the playoffs. So Dante's going to get minutes, but I just think that they're going to pencil in like, TJ, you're getting 15 minutes a night, and we'll figure out the other stuff. Like we've got 25 minutes there from Nikhil. You're going to get 15 of them, and we'll figure out who needs to have less minutes, more minutes, where we get those other minutes for the other guys from there.
Yeah. And I think that works. All right, let's talk about Jan Berenjay. We'll save Leonard Miller for last here. Jan Berenjay, who was really impressive in game 1. Like, just hard to overstate, honestly, how impressive. 7 blocks. I think it was changed to 6 it was in like post game scoring. It was changed. They robbed
my boy of the record.
Which idiot is watching this game being like, not so quite loser. Anyways, Yeah, he was really good game one. Game two, just he was fine. I just didn't, I guess, notice him as much. We got a couple lobs from a Rob to him, which is something we wanted to see. One of
Mm-hmm.
them didn't connect, but it still worked, except for the going in the hoop part of it. But overall, I mean, his defense is there. I think it was like the second possession of the game. He had a possession where guy drove in, ready to shoot, and there's Baron J's 7 feet tall, forcing it to kick it
Yeah.
out to the corner or something. So he's he's like too good of a defender for summer league, and I don't think he's going to get any rotation minutes in the regular season. It's a very interesting case because we went into this saying what's our expectations for this guy, and we both kind of agreed we don't know, and let's just see it play out. And honestly, like, he's hit the top end of that spectrum in game one and
Mm-hmm.
some very low points, but no concern from my end, and just a lot of excitement for where this is going to go in the future, because this guy's 18 years old, and that's absurd.
Yeah. Yeah, I expected to have more problems to point out. Before Summer League, I expected there to be more times where we said, look, he's really raw because of these things. Whereas so far, game one was awesome. Like, he was insane defensively, really efficient. He's not going to do much offensively, but he did the things that you want him to do really well. And then in game two was more of like a median kind of game that I guess you expect from a big dude of his archetype. Like, he was really good on the offensive, 5 offensive rebounds in this game, fights like hell for the ball. It's like how I'm laughing at you.
You slapped my computer, dude.
Yeah, I thought in the second half of this recent game, especially, he was like super hustle play kind of guy. He was everywhere, diving for the ball. The Rudy comparisons kind of end when you see him getting on the ground for a loose ball or flying from the top for a rebound. So I was impressed to see that kind of thing. Again, don't expect much offensively. Had a few lobs, had a few finishes around the rim. And you could tell this Denver team were at least somewhat aware of game one, because they didn't test him like the Pelicans did. And I think he'd have more blocks if they did. So, yeah, he's like, and plus, I know plus minus doesn't matter at all, but like both games, I'm pretty sure he's led the team in plus minus. So he's the type of player, it feels like, in Summer League who's just doing winning stuff all the time. And the same thing, I bet Finch is sitting there thinking, I would like for this dude who we don't plan on playing at all to not be doing all of the things that a coaching staff loves to see. Getting rebounds, not demanding the ball, efficient, making the right play, defending his ass off. Like, this is a dude who's pretty much hit every marker I would guess that the coaching staff want him to hit so far.
So yeah, just to, like, shift it a little. So we started this summer league probably at like I don't even want him to play in the regular season, right? Like, where are you now? Like, what percentage of you is like, you know what? Maybe I do want to see this guy get some minutes, because I think I'm still at like 0. He's 18, but it's fun to watch.
Every time I hear anyone say it, or my own head say, let's get this dude some minutes, I just think the same thing as I think I said last week was, Julius and Nas need to play the backup 5, because one of them need to play. They need minutes. Like, they can't split the minutes at the 4 and play 24 minutes each. It's just not. You just paid a shitload of money for both of them. So, but if you're asking me, if one of those dudes get hurt,
yeah,
or if it's the same situation, like last year, Julius and Rudy were hurt for a pretty extended stretch, a couple of weeks at least. So, do I want him in the Luka Garza role right away? I think yes. Like, I think he's proven that, can he play 12 minutes on a night where you have injuries or foul trouble and he's not completely out of his depth? I think probably he can. So that would be an upgrade in my mind from a dude who's just like, stick him in Iowa and we'll see you next year. I think he's going to spend some time on that Timberwolves bench, even if it's not getting in the game, but as a break glass kind of guy.
When looking at just like a straight depth chart, you're like, oh, he's the backup center, right? But you're right about you need to play Nas and Julius close to like 30 minutes each. So
yeah, like they're probably eating up 60 minutes, close to 60 minutes each on a given night. So that's 12 minutes more at least than the power forward position can supply. So that's the 12 minutes that you'd probably be giving Baron J if you were wanting to just give him, throw him a bone. So But yeah, if one of them gets injured, like if Rudy's out for 3 weeks or a month, like do they go small with Nas and then Berenjay plays some minutes off the bench, or is that guy who can come in and give them some size? If it's bothering them that they don't have it. So maybe it feels like he's the best option, and that
Well, they don't
uh,
have many, that's
yeah,
the thing.
exactly. And he looks ahead of schedule for a guy who was meant to be 2 years away.
Yeah, it's just, I'm 23, so when I hear that this kid's 18, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He's
Yeah.
8. Like, I still feel like
Yeah.
I've got some way to go in my physical prime, but
I'm 12 years older than him, and that's sickening.
doesn't make any sense. But let's talk about Leonard Miller, who this is my take on Leonard Miller. I think he's going to be kind of slid into a Josh Minot role where maybe about halfway through the season, he'll start getting some consistent minutes via injury or whatever else. And he just won't be very good, and we might never see him again from there. I don't see it with Miller, man. I think we talked about him a bit last week. I know you're maybe higher on him than me, but are they trying to turn him into a 3-point shooter? Because he's got the worst form I think I've ever seen. And they all
Yeah.
clank. They like the rattling of the rim when they hit it. It's so bad. And
Mm.
I don't know. Like he's a power forward to me that just is not a shooter, and I don't think he's even that good of a scorer inside. And he's had whenever he tries to be a playmaker, it seems to get turned over. And I don't know, man. Talk me a little bit off the ledge here on Leonard Miller because I don't see it at
Look,
all.
I'm not going to talk you off the
Okay.
ledge. I like Leonard Miller, but I know that I think this was one of his last chances. Again, I don't like to put all of my stock in summer league, but when you've been around for like a third year guy, you feel like you really should be playing pretty damn well at summer league. And I like the archetype of the tweener, the guy tweeners used to be an insult, but now it's more of a compliment that you can do a little bit of everything. But at some point, you need to do one of the things pretty well. And
Yeah.
well, he needs to shoot or defend to be a rotation player. That's just the bottom line. And right now, he can't shoot, especially right now in summer league.
Dude, it's
He can't shoot,
painful.
and
It's
he's
painful.
not a
Whenever
good defender, and he's aloof. He's not an aware defender. I think you need to be really good at the sport if you're not going to be an attention to detail kind of guy, and he's not an attention to detail player, and I don't think he's probably good enough to not be. Like Jalen Clark can get by with probably less talent than Leonard Miller. Like this is a guy who can move with the ball. He's fast. He's athletic. He's 6'10". He can dribble. He can pass. Better than a lot of 6'10" guys. But Jalen Clark hits the details. He's attentive to those details. And he's attentive every second of the game. So Leonard Miller needs to either be a good defender or be a good shooter. And I was hoping to see growth in either of those areas for Summer League and last season in the G League season as well. And I don't think there really was. So I think he's probably, on that Josh Minot curve. I think they like to give. I don't think the coaching staff would ever say they're giving a dude minutes because he has a team option next season and he's been around for 3 years. But I do think there's a little bit of that in there, is that the front office would say, look, we need to see a little. If you're going to give some minutes out to some young guys, we would like to see the guy who we need to make a decision
he
on.
probably, despite what we've seen, he probably gets it ahead of Berenjay here.
Yeah. Even if it's 10 minutes in a game where they need 10 minutes. And because sometimes a dude plays 10 minutes in one game and they're awesome. I feel like Vando was like that, where he didn't play for a long time. And then one day Vando needed to play. And everyone was like, this dude's awesome.
This is
Like,
the next Dennis Rodman. I remember
yeah,
those.
yeah. Like next time we need someone to play 10 minutes, we're going to go with him. And he just kept being good in those minutes. So Josh Minot, they did the same thing. They said, we need 8 minutes tonight. And we're going to throw you out there and we're going to throw you to the Wolves. And he failed, really. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he didn't have a good season. So,
He just
and
couldn't
he's
shoot,
and he was the same thing. He either needed to
Very
shoot,
similar.
he
Yeah.
needed to defend, or he needed to be an attention to details guy. And he was neither of those three things. So I think it's a good comparison, even though they're different players. It's a pretty good comparison to be like, you need to figure it out this season. We're going to give you a little taste maybe And if they don't, I think they're just not going to pick up his option and they'll move on.
Yeah, and it's at like they got Matt Lloyd. He's saying they've got a starter pretty much at every position in development. It's that guy. He's just probably on the way out. They've got four really, I think, promising young prospects. And I mean, maybe I'm just going too in on Leonard Miller here, but he was good in his first summer league. I think back when Wolves just didn't have much young talent whatsoever, but he's just kind of been laughed by everyone in the young talent.
Well, yeah, that's the issue is that
he hasn't progressed.
Yeah, and he's a productive dude. Like he dominates the G League points, rebounds, assists. He's a guy who generates a box score, and that's easy to be like, well, he generates a box score, but we don't think he's very good at these things. But it is notable that he still scores and plays well in the box score every time you see him play.
What did he have for points tonight?
He only had 6. He had 6 and 7 tonight, but I think he had 20 in the first game and still didn't feel like he played very well in that first game. And he's a great rebounder, I think. But yeah, you feel like the opportunity to, like, even if they do give him minutes, like it's going to be emergency minutes because there is guys there now who you feel like you need to give minutes to. Whereas I think Miller is like, we want to give him some minutes to see what he's like. But I wouldn't be surprised if, they're just like, look, we need to give minutes to Jalen and to TJ and to Rob.
Well, they did it last year. All three of those guys were ahead of him.
He hasn't got off the bench once in his career, outside of garbage time. So I think maybe they give him some minutes this year, like you said, on the Minot kind of thing, but maybe they don't, and that's just them telling us without telling us.
Yeah, and that's, I don't want to go so in on him, but I'm just not impressed, and that's, I guess, what Summer League's about, impress us.
Yeah.
I guess that's all I've got on those 5 guys. I guess I'll ask you the question once more. Any other players you want to touch on? Rocco's been interesting, but he's kind of been exactly what we expected, I think. 7 foot.
Yeah, he's big. He's slow. I don't think I expected him to be fast, but he is noticeably slow when you watch him.
He looks like a second-round pick at his size. Like he looks.
I think he'll be cool in the G League. Like I think it's a nice G League player to have. He's 18 years old, so you take that punt on him and you hope that he develops one of those skills. Whether he can start shooting a few more threes. I know he's got a decent 3-point stroke, and he did shoot a few over here last season. Or he can, you just hope something pops over a year or two of development in terms of shooting post game, quicker feet, defending, and if it doesn't, it was a second-round pick, a mid-second-round pick that doesn't matter too much anyway, and he's on a 2-way, so you're not paying him any money. I like Amari Bailey. I said that last time. I'll say it again. Think he's a really good player. An NBA player, I don't know, maybe a backup point guard somewhere, but I thought he's been good in both games. So he's not really worth talking about because I don't think he's going to make the roster.
He's not going to be a player here, but he might be elsewhere.
Yeah, I would give him a 2-way over Jesse Edwards, but that might just be pure hatred fueling that take.
That's my favorite bit.
They can't drop him from a 2-way now because we'll have no jokes to get off.
That's good stuff. Otherwise, Summer League, it's been a fun couple games. Like the production is interesting. I didn't used to watch Summer League at all, so
I love hating Summer League. I hate watch it because I love watching these young dudes. But
you couldn't pay me to watch any other game.
It's the worst basketball I've ever seen. It's like Tuesday night at the Y. It's like D-grade basketball.
Dude, I just got an LA Fitness membership here. They've got a basketball court. I might be running some 5s soon, and
you might run into Jesse Edwards.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jesse Edwards is gonna have a run for his money for worst player anyone's ever seen, but it's pretty good. All right, that's all I've got here. Anything else from you?
No. It's good talking to you again. Just one episode this week, I think, for us. There's not a whole lot going on outside of Summer League, so we'll be back around this time next week. I think we do have a few more Summer League games to go. And yeah, I hopefully we see, I would like to see this team make a run to win this thing, even though it means nothing, more games. I want to see Rob play more. I want to see these guys by the end of it, Rob and Jalen and maybe not TJ, but feel like they're ready to go next season.
Yeah. My bold prediction of the week is the Wolves are going to get the triple crown, the Summer League Championship, NBA Cup, and the NBA Finals this year. It's just it's what I'm seeing in my crystal ball here.
Yeah,
So
look, you don't like to make predictions that are too bold. We like to keep it, put a lid on it a little bit.
right. So maybe just a finals appearance. Yeah, next week, yes, we'll be back next week with 2 episodes. Probably. I kind of want to just I don't know dive in on Anthony Edwards maybe next week. That'd be fun. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
more summer league. I mean, for sure, more summer league talk.
We
But
have a lot to talk about. We've got a lot of time to fill over the off season, so we'll have a lot of fun topics.
yeah, if
I'm
it
gonna
wasn't
do
12:53 a.m., we might do a second one. But I'm too
yeah,
tired. So
yeah. I'm gonna do a video tonight, a breakdown. I don't know what I'm gonna rewatch the game after I go out and have some lunch. I might do
rewatch the game, the whole
yeah,
thing.
rewatch the other one as well. It's
Jesus,
pathetic. I'm a pathetic human being, and don't talk to me about it. Just leave me alone.
you have a child, man. That's
Yeah, I do have
crazy.
a child. Well, he'll sit on my lap, and I'm just teaching him, the art of pick and roll coverage with Joam Berenger. The art of defending with Jalen Clark. He'll learn. He'll
There you
probably
go.
be 5'8" like me, but he'll learn. Maybe I should get him watching Rob a bit more.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh man. Okay. Well, we're gonna get out of here. I like when it devolves at the end. It's probably my favorite part. But
Yeah, it gets a bit sloppy.
appreciate you guys. We'll see you all next week.